Hello to you, I'm TFR Wilderness and welcome to my channel, and this is the first of the new season of my end of month bot haul videos. What do I mean by season? Well, obviously if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I do this thing whereby I'm fortunate in that I have a lot of disposable income, and what I do is I choose to spend it on plastic collectibles, and over the course of the month I buy a load of bots, and at the end of the month I get them all together, and then I do this long video where I pick them up, speak about them individually, and I go through all the bits that I've got at the end of every month, and it's end of month bot haul. And I first started doing these in 2015, and I didn't do them in 2016, but then I started doing them again in 2017 and then last year, and now this is effectively the fourth year that I've been doing these, hence season 4. So without further ado, now as is tradition, I like to make little minor changes to the bot haul at the beginning of every year. Obviously you'll see it's got a new thumbnail design on the front end. I'm going to be keeping the first and worst thing, because that worked out quite well for me last year. I mean, at the end of the year I had 12 best bots, and it made it quite easy for me to then do the TF18 of 2018, because I just had to pick 6 more bots from the bots that I bought throughout the year, which was fairly straightforward. Though I won't be doing the TF19 of 2019 this year, because it's just getting ridiculous. So I'll just be sticking to a top 12 best bots of the year come December. Now, this particular month, new year, a lot of what I bought this month is stuff that I wanted to buy last year, but I kind of didn't get around to it, or didn't have enough budget left in order to go for it. And a lot of small stuff, like legend scale stuff that I've bought this month. I've got my 2 KTRTs which I've reviewed, and a few other bits, and we'll get on with these in a moment. But now this month, usually I'll buy a bunch of bots, and then you'll have some bots that suck, basically, that are rubbish, and they become like the worst thing that I've got. Now this month, everything I bought this month is good. Nothing sucked, and everything was kind of above that minimum level of anticipation and expectation that I have for a toy or a figure when I buy it. So it made it kind of difficult to work out what the worst bot that I got this month is, but we'll get around to that eventually. And also, as regards to my budget, I mean, as in previous years I used to work to a £500 a month budget. Last year I reduced that to £400 a month, and it worked for the most part. There were a couple of times where I kind of went over budget due to a variety of reasons, and there were times last year that I got frustrated on particular months, because there was more things that came out that I wanted to buy, but I couldn't, because I ran out of budget on any given month. And with that in mind, I've decided to introduce a new feature to this year, and I'm going to call it the cash reserve pot system. Now, what does that mean? So if I save any money from my monthly budget on any given month, like this particular month I've got like £55 left over, that money will then go into the cash reserve pot. And this is an accumulative sort of cash reserve that will build up over a series of months, provided I manage to save money. If I overspend, then I will take money out of that reserve pot to take up the shortfall, and I'm going to be working that system this year. Where if at some point I build up a good amount of money in the cash pot, then I might decide to buy an extra figure, like a third KTRT, or a big impressive third party masterpiece figure or something like that. I might decide to use it at times, to buy something extra, a little something special. So, but that's a system that I'm going to be using this year. I mean, if I'd used it last year, I probably would have had about saved up 192 quid. So, but I didn't use the system last year, but I'm introducing that system this year, so that's something to keep in mind. So let's get on to the stuff. So January, new year, as usual, placed a bunch of orders at the beginning of the month, went through the month, and a couple of other things cropped up. And now, obviously, usually I pre-order my KTRTs at the beginning of the month, but then in the opening days, something else cropped up, and the first item to arrive on the 3rd of January, which was a Thursday, was this guy. This is Armada Minicon Longarm. Now, the reason I've been after this guy for ages, the reason being is that I've got Red Alert. Armada Red Alert. I picked this guy up at a car boot sale for £5 a couple of years ago. He's in pretty good nick. He's missing his missile and he's missing his arm piece there. But apart from that, he's a really good bot. But he doesn't have his Minicon. Now, me being me, I like to think if I've got an Armada figure, I like to have the Minicon to go with it. And I've been searching all this time to get hold of this guy. And it's really tough because you do a search on eBay for, you know, Minicon Longarm. And then you get, you know, items come up, but they usually list him as with the coming with the figure, and I didn't need the figure because I'd already got it. And when you do see one come up on its own, it's usually some seller in America who's, you know, selling it for like $5, but then they're slapping like, you know, like a $25 shipping fee to send it across to the UK. So it's just not financially viable. But this guy popped up. Some guy in the UK was selling it. It had a £1.99 or something starting bid, and it had a like £3.40 postage. I managed to get it for its starting bid, so I got it relatively cheap. And he also came with a set of instructions for Red Alert. So I've now got the instructions for Red Alert, which is great. So yeah, so now it does that, and then how does it work? Which way does it go? Does that. And yeah, so Red Alert. What's the other one? Let's do the other gimmick. So you put it on the back. So yeah, he's now got his Minicon partner, and Red Alert's now fully functional. Got his instructions. Just wish I had the missiles to go with him, but there you go. He's quite an impressive bot, actually. I quite like Red Alert from Armada. I mean, some of the Armada figures are a bit meh, but this guy's actually pretty good. So yeah, got he was the first thing to arrive this month. Little Minicon Longarm. So moving on to the following day, which was Friday the 4th. Bunch of stuff came in. Now, start off with, I got these Magic Square Brobdingnag MSB03 4-wheel drive and MSB05 Surfer. It's like a 2-pack, and this is the typical Magic Square box. I got these from Kapow, and so I got these two guys. Now, I'm really getting into my Magic Square stuff. I mean, Magic Square, I've got a couple of figures already. I've got the Transporter and Fire Extinguisher, and they're really, really cool figures. And they're bringing out more and more stuff. And I really wanted it for this guy. I really wanted it for the Beachcomber, because, as I previously said, he's one of the characters I'm doing character mold set collecting for, so I needed to get this mold of Beachcomber. And that was the principal reason why I bought this pack, was just to get him. Now, it also came, because it's a 2-pack, it came with this guy. And now, the thing is, I didn't want this. I didn't ask for it, but I had to buy it because to get the other figure, they come as a 2-pack. He's a great little figure, don't get me wrong. He's brilliantly engineered, great little transformation, fantastic little Beachcomber. I've got a few Beachcomber molds, but I don't collect Beachcomber's mold as a rule. He's a character that doesn't mean a great deal to me, even though one of the Beachcomber molds I've got is one of my Centenary bots. You know, bot 300 is Hunt for the Decepticons Voyager Beachcomber. So this guy was a Brucey bonus. He's okay. He's not a bad bot. It's like I said, everything I got this month is good. There's nothing bad, and this guy is good. But you've got to keep in mind, had these figures been available separately, then I would not have bought this. And you've got to keep that in mind when I do my worst bot of the month. But anyway, so I got these two guys. They're both really neat little figures, and they arrived on the 4th. And then also the same day, and I think I ordered this from Kapow as well, because I think I had an order with Kapow. So all these figures you're going to see today are from a single order from Kapow. So we've got New Age Critter, and it's like a repaint of that little Bumblebee they did. This thing's tiny. I mean, let's just put him next to Longarm. So, you know, you put him next to a Minicon. He's not much bigger than a Minicon. But the engineering on this thing is amazing. I mean, it's all ball joints. Let's face it, it's all ball joints. But it's got a really neat transformation. I mean, yes, the wheels don't turn because the micro engineering on this, it wasn't really possible. But he's a fantastic little figure, and I like the decal on this because it's Bug Bite or Volk. So whichever you want to go for. So I thought it looked really good. So I went for this because I was looking at a couple of figures to make up the order so as to reduce the impact of the shipping fee. Yeah, so got him, and then the fourth figure that I got as part of this little Kapow order was Siege Hound. Now I could have got this guy at the MCM Comic Con in November because the Indie Man store had this guy on the shelf, and I could have bought him then, but I didn't. The reason being I wanted to save some money because there was an item on eBay that I wanted to pull the trigger on when I walked out of the convention, so I didn't buy him back then. Since then I've been watching lots of reviews of this guy. I've been watching people's top bots of the year lists, and this guy's been cropping up a hell of a lot on people's top bots of 2018. I don't mind Hound. Hound is a good character. I've got a bunch of Hound molds, and this is a really, really good figure. It's a fantastic little figure. It's solid. It's got a great transformation, nice molding, nice paint. It's got so much going for it, and I've got a couple of figures from the Siege line, and so far so good. They're all pretty awesome figures. And this guy is no exception. He's a fantastic little bot. So I finally got hold of Siege Hound. And like I said, they were all from an order I got from Kapow, which arrived on January the 4th. Next things to arrive was Friday the 11th. Well, not to arrive. Obviously, I went uptown for the first time this year to go and see Sid Beckett at the Spartown Comics Collection up at the White Horse pub. Now, as the normal IDW, the old IDW comics have now finished, the only comic I've got that I'm buying through them is this Star Trek versus Transformers series. Now, as I understood it, I thought it ran out to 4 issues, but it actually runs out to 5. But I've been following the on eBay, the comics on eBay as they come out, so I get a rough idea of when they get released. And then I walk uptown and go and see Sid and get my comic. And I was expecting for him to have the latest issue of Star Trek versus Transformers, but as it happens, he didn't. Instead, they had 2 other comics. Now, the first of all was this, Bumblebee Going for Gold. Now, this is part of the reboot. This is the first of the new order of Transformers comics. It's very much a G1 style story with G1 style characters. It's a fairly... It's supposed to be a one-shot. Well, it is a one-shot. And it's supposed to play into another book that they did, which I haven't got, which I'm not really bothered about getting. The art style's a bit cartoony, so to speak, and the plot's very simple. Basically, it's set on Earth in the 1980s. There's a meteor crash lands on Earth. It's got some sort of space metal in it that both the Decepticons and the Autobots want. So they all send out teams to go and go and recover it. And there's a big battle that ensues. Bumblebee, wants to, because he's only a little scout guy, he wants to get into the thick of the action. But Optimus says, no, you're not a proper warrior. You've got to go and rescue the humans. So he goes out and rescues the humans, but he ends up getting involved in the fight anyway and gets injured. And then when he recovers, Optimus is giving him a telling off and and all that stuff. It's an okay comic, but I only bought it because I was there. The comic that I wanted to buy wasn't there, so I decided to buy them. So I bought that. And then there's this Transformers Historia, and basically it's a list or a story, basically going over the entire history of the Transformers comic book run from IDW, right from its beginning through to its final conclusion. So that they go through all the different runs of Transformer comics, goes through the story. It's a lot of text, some pictures and stuff. I bought it because I thought it would be interesting to, so that I'd have something that listed all the IDW comics that they did, because I still have some gaps in my IDW comic, especially the early stuff. I don't have much of the early stuff, so I bought it because of that. Haven't read it. I don't know if I will read it because the old IDW franchise is now gone and the new franchise is coming in, so there's not really much emphasis to read it, but it's there for reference if should I need to go back and seek out the older IDW comics that I haven't got. So yeah, got that as well. So I picked them up, but I didn't get the comic that I was actually after, but more on that later. So that was Friday the 11th. Now, going forward on to Saturday the 12th, I was away from home doing my bury thing. And some parcels were waiting for me when I got home. And, right, this is one of the figures that I wanted to buy back in the last year, but, I ran out of budget. Papa Toys PPT-05 Ultralore Warrior, aka their take on a Legend scale Ultra Magnus. Now, I've got the Magic Square one, and he's a fantastic little figure, though personally I think the aesthetic in robot mode is a little tall and lanky, and he's also kind of small. Whereas this guy he's very beefy. I mean, give you an idea of size, put him next to Siege Hound. So like he's not quite Voyager scale, but he's bigger than a Deluxe. So he's pretty big. He's got that boxy, bulky Ultra Magnus aesthetic that I like. Engineering wise, he's very similar to the Magic Square one. Pretty much the same transformation with a few extra bells and whistles. And you can say that it's kind of borrowed from the Masterpiece. And you could say that this is like a mini Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, because it's pretty good. Comes with a bunch of accessories, including a little matrix inside. So yeah, and he's really, really, really good. Like I said, he's also got on the head sculpt. He's got them big chunky sort of sunglasses type optics that I like, and you get a multiple head sculpts with him. You get some with some smaller eyes and some with some big eyes, and you get two versions of the face, like a serious pout and then the yelling pose. And yeah, he's awesome little figure, very well articulated. Got a bit of an ab crunch going on. Yeah, decently articulated. He has got these little flaps on the back of his arms, which form part of the truck mode, obviously, and then the truck cab's just parked upside down. It's good. It's a brilliant little figure, and I'm really glad I've got it. And he's decently priced. I mean, this thing I got for just over 20 quid, and yeah, so I got him, and he arrived on the Saturday the 12th. And then another thing. Now, remember this that I got in December at the NEC Toy Fair. It was the last thing I bought at the NEC Toy Fair in December. I got me a body of a G1 Headmaster Snapdragon, because I'd really been after one. Now he's missing his Headmaster and all his accessories, but he was £5. He's in decent nick, and I thought, well, it's something I can fix up in the new year. Now I really wanted to get Headmaster for this guy, and now if you've ever tried to buy a Headmaster because you've got, you know, a figure that the Headmaster's either broken or missing, it can be a minefield of you know, scalper prices, basically. I mean, I've bought a Headmaster before. I bought one for one of my Weird Wolves, and I paid about 20 odd quid for it. Whereas getting the Headmaster for this guy, because he's a horror con and he's effectively a triple changer, he goes for a little bit more money. And I ended up paying like 35 quid for this bloody thing. So yeah, got hold of Krunk. He's got floppy legs, doesn't stand up. The rivets want tightening up. Could probably do that and get a hammer and a punch and just give them a tap, or just get some you know, some nail varnish and capillary it into the joints. That usually works as well. So I got him, and it was the price I paid for it. Got it from a guy in Spain, and like I said, I paid like 35 quid for this thing. I suppose if I'd have waited, I could have got one cheaper. I could have waited, maybe got one at you know, TF Nation for about, you know, 15 quid or whatever. But I don't know. I really wanted to get one and make a start on restoring my my Snapdragon. So yeah. Come on. Head on. There we go. So at least now he's got a more or less complete robot mode and, you know, dragon mode. But the cost. The way I look at it, I paid like 35 quid for this, but I only paid a fiver for this. So far this figure owes me like just over 40 quid. But I've still got to get the 2 guns and the 2 wings. So you can get aftermarket reproductions of the guns, and the price of the wings varies from place to place. So it's still going to cost me a bit of money to get this guy, you know, fully complete. But I've made a start on it, so that's something. I will admit, it did make me wince when I pulled the trigger on that guy. And you know what I'm like for paying over the odds for little bots. So there is that. So yeah, that arrived on the 12th. So now, not much left now, because it wasn't really a massive month for buying stuff, but let's carry on. Next, Monday the 14th. Right, so eBay items arrived. Starting with KTRTs. Tobot V, Captain Police. Yeah, I've done reviews on both these guys, as you probably know. This month, my KTRTs didn't suck. They were both really good. Captain Police, he's the first figure from the Tobot V line that I've bought. I mean, Tobot V sort of started up sort of halfway through last year, and they started bringing out new moulds. It was like a reboot of the Tobot line. Doesn't really have anything to do with anything that went before, even though there is sort of Easter eggs that link the two series together. Captain Police, the paint on this thing is unbelievable. I mean, you can just see how much paint this guy's got on him. He is absolutely blathered in it. I've never seen so much paint on a KTRT. He's also decently articulated. You know, he's got bicep swivels. He has got a little bit. He is kind of restricted in some articulation joints because of his bulk, but you know, that's to be expected. I mean, you know, Tobots, as we know, are usually big chunky things. But he is a fantastic figure. He's absolutely amazing. I was looking to get him. I'd seen a few reviews on him, and he looked pretty amazing. And as he turned out, he's a fantastic bot. So he arrived. And then it was this guy. Miniforce X Raybot. Now, last year I bought those Miniforce X figures that make up that combiner, and for the most part they were absolute garbage. They were rubbish. Only one of them was half decent, but the combiners are a disaster. The individual bots were, you know, the design and build quality on them was so subpar to what I'm used to with Korean toys. And then this guy got released in like sort of back end of November, beginning of December. Wow, what a difference. This thing it's heavy, it's solid, it's got a decent amount of workable articulation, it's got a fun transformation, it's a triple changer, and it's, again, a lot of paint and details on it. Looks really amazing. Fantastic figure. I absolutely love this thing. It's brilliant. And I've noticed more recently that there's more Miniforce X figures just recently been announced and are on, you know, due for release shortly. They're basically having a second stab at the Miniforce X combiner. They're doing it again. I don't know why, but they're doing it again. So they've brought out, was it 5 new figures? They've got the 4 main ones and an extra one. They've got Voltbot turns into a Humvee. Sammy turns into a helicopter. Lucy turns into a cement truck. Max turns into a big, you know, sort of quarry dump truck. And they've got this other guy, I can't remember his name, but he basically turns into a tank. I haven't seen the combiner, but some of the original figures look kind of interesting. They certainly have added a lot more joints to them, mainly due to transformation. Voltbot turns into a Hummer and he looks pretty good. Some of the others look a bit weak. I mean, Sammy's helicopter mode looks a bit weak. Lucy's cement truck looks a bit odd because the mixer drum's the wrong way round. But they look like they're improving. They're upping their game, and they're getting the hang of it and making better stuff. And if this is an example of what is to come, then, you know, there's hope for the Miniforce X line, because this thing is amazing and it's quite simply the best bot I got this month. Little spoiler there. So yeah, I absolutely love this guy. He's fantastic, and he arrived on the 14th. Now, someone else who also arrived on the 14th, Magic Square Strongman. Again, like I said, I'm really getting into these Magic Square figures. This is the third one I got this month. Wanted to get this guy because I collect the Huffer mold. Huffer is my main sort of character mold set collecting character. This is Huffer mold number 11. There's actually 2 more that I needed to get after this. Engineer on this thing is really neat. He's not very big, obviously, but he's a fantastic little figure. And Bisto Yeti had him on his top 10 bots of 2018, and I can see why, because he's a really cool little figure. So yep, got him. And yeah, oh yeah, he arrived on the 14th. So that was all the stuff that arrived on the 14th, and I got that guy off eBay, as I recall. Yeah. No, I got it from Kapow, sorry. Yeah, it was another purchase from Kapow, just looking at my cheat sheet down here. So, getting down to the last couple of things. Now, another eBay item arrived on the 15th. Dark of the Moon Scout Class Beachcomber. Now, this figure, as I said, last year I decided I wanted to character mold set collect Beachcomber, and obviously I've got 2 Beachcomber molds this month, so I'm doing quite well. Now, this guy, I knew it existed, this mold. It's a repaint of this thing, because I've already got the original mold. So, were it not for the fact that this guy got repainted into Beachcomber, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I mean, they have repainted this mold into Sandstorm as well, and I think 1 or 2 other characters. So this mold has been remolded a couple of times. So I've got the original one, and I needed to get one of these. Now, as I understand it, this guy he's kind of rare because he came out as part of a 2-pack box set. and this repaint was only in that 2-pack box set, and as a result, it's kind of hard to get, and it's sort of a bit pricey. There was a few sellers in America that was asking like 20 odd quid for this thing plus postage. But I did get this from a guy in America. I saw a guy who was selling it for a bit cheaper. I bought it and it got that global shipping program thing. But fortunately, because the price of the figure was below a certain threshold, I didn't have to pay the duty payment on it. So that was good. So yeah, he arrived on the 15th. It's a decent figure. I like this mould. I mean, I like buggy formers, and obviously it's in Beachcomber colours. He's actually got the guns on the shoulders, whereas my other one they're missing. So he's got the he's got like the Gatling guns on the shoulders, which is so unlike Beachcomber because he's a pacifist. Yeah, but I got that, and he's a decent little mould, and so got him as part of my character mould set collecting. And he arrived on the 15th, and then it's the final day where stuff arrived, the 18th, and Bad Cube Natures BCN01 Captain Huffy. Yeah. Again, like I said, come here. Yeah, so collect Huffer molds as well, so I had to get this guy, and as you can see, this guy is massive. He's the biggest version of Huffer I've got. Bad Cube, yeah, they've released, or they're starting to release this new sub-line called Natures, where they basically take an existing Transformers character, and then they give it a rework into a different sort of aesthetic than normal. I like to think of it as it's their take on, like Mackie Toys are doing that Cross Dimensions line, which is kind of like Transformers in an alternative dimension, where how they might have looked had things been different. Similar sort of thing here. This is the first figure from their Natures line, and it's really good. It's also very cheap. I mean, I paid just over 40 quid for this, and it's a big bot. I mean, look at him next to Red Alert. He's as big as Red Alert, and this guy is not small. So yeah, and the build quality is pretty good on him. The transformation's okay, it's not too bad. I mean, Bad Cube are known for having really complex and pernickety transformations, but not this guy. Comes with 2 axes. You've got the backpack. You can sort of adjust it to give the more classic hood design, or have it sort of folded away. It's got options, which is nice. It's decently articulated. It's nice and solid. It's good. It's great. And I was going to get it anyway because it's Huffer and I collect Huffers. And yeah, so he arrived, and he's a really awesome bot. And he's mould number 12. There is one more Huffer mould that's come out. And it's from that Final Victory triple pack. I don't know whether you've seen it. Ben's Collectibles did a review on it, back end of last year. Basically, they've got 3 sort of masterpiece-esque moulds. They've got Huffer, Brawn, and Warpath. And the problem is, I want the Huffer mould. I'm not too bothered about the other moulds. I want the Huffer mould. The problem is, these guys, they retail for about 80-90 quid, but when you put the postage on top, it pushes it over 100 quid. And I can't justify spending that amount of money just to get one figure. So, yeah. But I'm looking out to see if there's any way I can get those figures cheaper. But I want to get hold of that Final Victory Huffer, because I need to complete my Huffer mould set again. Because, new moulds are going to keep coming out, and obviously these are later editions, but I've got all the others so far. So got those, and then well, obviously Captain Huffy arrived on the 18th, which was Friday, and then obviously being Friday, went uptown to see Sid at Spartown Comics. Only Sid wasn't there. He was on holiday, and it was one of his buddies doing the stall. And I got issue 4 of Star Trek versus Transformers. There is one more issue with this. It's okay. It's a bit of fun, I suppose. I've decided to get it. Some interesting stuff happens in this that I won't really bother to go into details about. But yeah, so this is sort of like the in-betweeny comic which I've been collecting while I wait for the new regime to start in March. Whether or not I'm gonna go with it, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I've got that, and this is the last item I bought this month. So that's it. That's everything I got this month. Like I said, a bunch of stuff that I bought. Well, I wanted to buy back end of last year, but I managed to pick up this month. And yeah, so that's it. Now, obviously, got to do the old first and worst. So, first and worst. Now, this is pretty obvious that this is the best thing that I got this month. He's certainly the biggest and most impressive bot that I bought this month, and such a surprise because, you know, given how bad the Miniforce X figures from the combiner set that I bought last year were, and this guy is just total surprise. He's so good, so much better than the rest, and he just blew me away. And then now, this is kind of awkward. This is the worst thing that I got this month, but I don't hate it. It's not bad. It's a fantastic little figure, so don't get me wrong. I don't hate this figure. It's a great little figure. It's got an awesome little transformation. It's Magic Square, and Magic Square stuff is as it says. It's a Magic Square. It's amazing. But when I put these two together, and it was like, I couldn't decide which one of these was going to be the worst. And at the end, it all boiled down to, had this been available separately, I would not have bought it. Had this been, you know, had I not had this, I would have bought this. So, for that reason alone, this is the worst thing I bought this month. But like I said, I don't hate this thing. It's not a bad bot. It's just that out of all the things I got this month, this is the thing that I like the least, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, that's me, TFR Wellness, starting off the new year with reworked end of month bot series of season 4. Something else I want to put in just at the end of this video before, you know, we run the musical photo gallery. As part of my New Year's resolution this year, where I said, you know, I'm going to review more third-party and official bots, and I've already done those this month. I did the third-party figure with Cylindrus beginning of the month, and then I had my 400 subs video where I did you know, G1 Micromaster Red Hot. So I've done those this month. But going into next month, one of the things I wanted to say, out of all the bots I've got this month, if there's any of them that you'd like to see me review next month as part of my, you know, New Year's resolution to do more official and third-party reviews, then, you know, put a message down in the comments, you know, saying which bot you'd like me to review, and I will endeavour to do a review on it, because I usually do my pre-orders for, you know, my KTRTs and other stuff at the beginning of the month, and then there's this like 2-week gap before stuff starts coming in, and it's those couple of weeks at the beginning of the month where I could slot in these you know, these resolution reviews, so to speak. And so yeah, if you, like I said, if there's anything I got this month that you'd like to see me review next month, let me know and I will see what I can do. Of course, if I get something else comes in that I really like, I want to review off the cuff, then that's besides the point. But that's all I've got for today. We move on to February. I've got a bunch of things that I want to pull the trigger on February the 1st. So I've been TFR Wellness. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Catch you all next time. Ta-da.